clients online. Hello, gorgeous people. Hey, Rowena. So let me know where you're watching from, how you are doing, if you're pregnant or if you're postnatal, anything about your journey, where you're at in your life, and perhaps what you're hoping to gain from today's talk, because we're talking all about homeopathy and natural and holistic care when it comes to your health and well-being at this really special time. Hey, Emily. Oh, it's lovely to see you here. Hey, Megan. So I'm going to do a few minutes of just chatting to you, and then we'll bring Rowena in. And yeah, this is kind of Rowena's chat really today, because it's Rowena who is the homeopath or homeopathic expert, and she is going to be sharing all her passions with us today, and I'm here to host it. So please do send in your questions. I think today, because homeopathy is something that will definitely lends itself to this time of our lives, I think still there's lots of things that we don't understand or realise that it can help with. So you may actually have some questions that come up for you as we talk, and feel free to ask away below, and remember to chat below as well. You know, if there's anything else that shows up and you can converse about, then chat. This is your community as well. And I love seeing that you're all making friends and encouraging each other. And this is always going to be a really positive and supportive space. Hello, chilling with my 4-day-old. Congratulations. I hope that you are well. I think you sent me your birth story, didn't you? Anyway, I hope you're really well. So let's bring Rowena in. So for those of you who are maybe new today or have just sprung up here, I'm Lucy. This is these are our Monday morning live talks called The Flow Down, and they give the lowdown on different topics surrounding pregnancy, birth and motherhood. And sometimes I go live on my own and talk about things that I'm educated in and that I want to share. Congratulations. And sometimes I bring in guests who really complement what we're all doing. So yeah, this is going to be a really, really good one. And this will be saved to my IGTV, but there's something really lovely about being live, isn't there? So let me just bring Rowena in. There she is. Hello!
Okay. Hi!
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, really well. It's lovely to see you. I know that, yeah, we've seen each other months ago, so it's nice to see you again here.
Time's flying, isn't it?
Oh my God.
So dragging and flying at the same time.
Yeah, a bit of both, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't seem that long ago that we met, but also we kind of want life to speed up so we can all get back to normal.
Waiting for our final get-together, that'd be good soon.
I know. Well, I don't think anybody knows how we've met, actually, so I'll let you chat. But yeah, welcome to our live flow down, Rowena, and please introduce yourself to everybody.
Thank you. So my name's Rowena. I'm a registered homeopath and a qualified teacher. I just adore homeopathy and anything natural, really. And my kind of quest is to make it accessible to everyone. How I got into it. Actually, at a pregnancy yoga class, a lady came in with a little kit. This one says 18 remedies for childbirth. Actually, it's for pregnancy, childbirth and recovery.
Wow.
And just got me into it. So it's 15 years ago. So I love to share my knowledge, and I'm also really into sort of natural living, but I kind of say natural living in the modern world. So you don't have to move and go and live in a commune in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. You can if you want to, but there's some simple changes you can make in the home to have a bit more of a natural slant. Yeah. So try and raise my kids quite naturally. You know, they still go to McDonald's sometimes. You know, all that stuff. Balance. But yeah, exactly. Just a few simple changes that you can make. And so my kids, I call them homeopathy children. So I've got a daughter who's 14, a son who's 11. Lovely. And my daughter's been to the doctor once, I think, and my son's never been. Doesn't mean he's neglected or anything. It just
no, of course. Of course. But that is incredible to hear, isn't it? Because that's obviously proof, of course,
because he's a boy. But
yeah. But also that sounds like you're helping people to make natural living part of their normal life, rather than having to, like you say, make it an inaccessible change or swap. It's actually something that we can just all make part of our everyday, which I would be so keen to learn more about.
Yeah, exactly. So with just about 40 or 50 remedies really in every home, and then some essential oils and some other sort of natural swaps, and you're sorted with a lot of things.
Wow.
So yeah,
fantastic. And so where do we start? Because there'll be people here, I mean, this is really new to me, so you lead this, but do people generally, what's the general time of people's lives that they come to you, especially women and women's health? You know, because I know that you can go for the whole journey of fertility through to lifestyle after birth, right?
Yeah, so with homeopathy, because it's gentle but powerful, and it's obviously natural and side effect free, you can use it for anybody and everything, which actually makes it quite hard to market to people, because you can literally use it from in utero to death, and come to me with any kind of issue, and homeopathy will try to seek to help you, you know, support your healing. But for me, I love working with women, especially. I suppose it's like rewinding time from where I came from and sort of teaching the same sort of journey. So I love to work with women, you know, women who are trying to get pregnant, women who are pregnant, birth recovery, you know, women with children. So then obviously the teacher side of me, I treat their children as well, and I can talk to them quite easily. So that's my kind of niche, I suppose, my love, problem periods, all that kind of stuff. So women and their children are my, not speciality, baby. Together they are, but my love.
Your
my favourite thing to do. And obviously their husbands as well. So I sort of, you know, outwardly speak to women, but then once I'm talking to them, their husbands come along as well. So
it's a family thing, like you're saying. It's treating everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think something that I've loved about your page is your hormone talks about balancing. I mean, I'm on a bit of a balancing hormones or tuning into hormones at the moment. And what I've learned from your page is amazing, and it kind of blows my mind that we're not taught this.
About 18 months, 2 years ago, someone was talking to me about seed cycling and all that kind of stuff in the moon, and I was like, I need to look into this a bit more, because even though it's not technically homeopathy, it's all natural living principles, and, you know, bringing it all together, and, you know, syncing a cycle is, you know, how if you are trying to get pregnant, then looking after your cycle will help that in turn. So, you know,
and how we not discussed this, I don't know how we're not taught this earlier. So you're swooping in to kind of inform us, because otherwise we're living quite in the dark about our own bodies, our own health.
It's a bit of a turnaround coming, I think, with health and looking after yourself, and that whole empowerment, you know, sounds like a cringy word that everyone throws around.
I know,
but it's actually true, isn't it?
It's true, it's true. So then so let's say that a lot of the people watching are pregnant. So what would you suggest are the most common, I don't know, ailments or reasons that a pregnant person might seek out homeopathy, and what could they benefit from? I mean, not only because obviously natural living is reducing toxins and chemicals, right? So that's already a massive plus.
Exactly, yeah. I should probably tell you what homeopathy is first of all, because
let's go back, because there's so much to talk about.
Homeopathy kind of comes, people think it's just like natural living, which actually it is, but it's very specific, the actual, you know, homeopathic practice and homeopathy. So homeo meaning the same, and pathy meaning disease. So homeopathy kind of works different to sort of mainstream medicine. It's like a different sort of path, I suppose. So the remedies are things from nature, animal, plants and minerals, essentially. It's like that game. And they're made into ultra dilutions, like nano dilutions. So these little pills we have here, chemically and technically, there's nothing in them. So if you were to tell me one of your boys ate this whole kit and this other kit here, I'd be like, don't worry, it's fine, Lucy. Because they're just sugar pills. But they're not. Because when you dilute at nano dilutions, the whole idea is you're aiming to stimulate the body's healing mechanism within, which we call the vital force. Probably heard it called chi or your soul or whatever. And it's like, put the remedy in, and there's like an energetic frequency, you know, sort of transmission, as it were, where all the ripples go to every kind of part of you. So it's an enormously holistic therapy, because it touches every aspect of you. So, and the homeopathy thing, so you treat with like cures like. So if you were to take that substance in its raw form, it would give you the very problem you're trying to fix. And everyone's like, what? I'm confused. But let me give you an example. So one of my favourite hay fever remedies is called allium cepa, and that is made of red onion. Because if you were to chop up a red onion, you'd get sore, itchy, runny eyes, wouldn't you? So therefore, if you've got sore, itchy, runny eyes, you take allium cepa to cure it. So
wow,
it's
okay.
the whole like yours like thing,
And
which you have to reverse your thinking slightly,
yeah,
because it seems very alien to the way we live these days. But it's an opposite sort of way of healing than the mainstream, essentially. So
oh
is
my
that new?
goodness.
Is that new to you? It's new, isn't it?
Yeah, and also, so then how does that remedy get made with the red onion?
So basically, they literally take a bit of red onion, they like crush it down in a pestle and mortar or whatever, and then you put it in like a tincture, so an alcoholic sort of or brandy kind of tincture. Then you take 1 drop of that and put it with like 99 of water or alcohol, 1 drop of that, 1 drop of that, and so you dilute it so many times. And once you've actually diluted it 13 times, mathematically it cannot exist anymore, but you get like an energetic imprint. Now this is where homeopathy is mocked, because scientifically they say it's implausible, and if you search on an NHS whatever, it says it's got an inverted commas treatment. But
that's fantastic. That must be frustrating for you, because
I know
you're doing it and you know
like, oh,
you get results as well, don't you?
Yeah, it works, you get results. And the whole thing with science isn't science trying to explore things that we don't know about yet?
Absolutely.
Not to say this does not exist. This definitely works. There's so much evidence now, so many people who get better. Yeah. Don't tell me a baby who's got eczema that I've sorted out knows about the placebo effects, because it doesn't, they don't talk about that, do they?
Yeah.
It definitely works. So, but it hasn't been proven yet.
Yeah, but then there's so much, like you say, of life that we haven't proven. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So
yeah, people used to think the world was flat until someone said it's a sphere. So obviously there are like nanophysicists working on this, trying to work out what's going on. But the thought so far is there's an energetic imprint of that substance, whatever the substance is, and there's 8,000 remedies available now.
Wow.
So the energetic imprint of that somehow works to stimulate your body's healing mechanism. Wow. And it's all about matching. So we don't treat diseases. So, the eczema example, if someone says, can you treat eczema? I'll be like, well, yeah, but actually what I'm treating is, you tell me you've got sore, itchy, red skin that's worse when you're in the bath, and I'm treating that.
Okay.
So people say to me, what's the remedy for this? What's the remedy for that? It's, it doesn't really work like that. You tell me symptoms and we match. It's like a matching game. So you have to match what's going on for the right remedy. Because if you get the wrong remedy, it won't work. Which is why if your kids eat the whole pack, it won't do anything unless maybe they've got an issue that fits that, and then it might heal them. Okay.
Oh my goodness. It's so interesting.
It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it? And
it is mind-blowing.
Until you try it, you're like, this doesn't make sense. But yeah,
and it is one of those things that I don't, but I know that people, and maybe generations that are different to us, older generations where medicine is the answer to everything. Actually, I think we are in a time where we are all exploring alternative options the entire time. Exactly. You could say similar for hypnobirthing. The word hypno, people go, oh God. But we know it works. It works. It's just whether if you're open to exploring something different, then homeopathy seems like a no-brainer. If you're wanting to
it's
explore.
A no-brainer because it's so gentle and it doesn't have side effects.
So there's no harm.
Sadly, most medicines, nearly all of them, I should say, have side effects. Even things like paracetamol, ibuprofen, Calpol, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't use them over and over again because there are consequences. They say children who have Calpol repeatedly throughout their childhood are more likely to get asthma. There's like reports on this.
Yeah.
So the more you can avoid this stuff, which is the way I kind of operate. I've still got some Calpol in the cupboard. I've still got paracetamol if I get a really bad headache.
Yeah.
But I always try the natural approach first and then leave the other stuff for the big guns. So, my kids who haven't really had anything, if they needed antibiotics, if they had something really bad going on, then they probably respond better because they haven't had it throughout their life.
Yeah. Isn't there a side effect of too many antibiotics? I know I've known people to then have repercussions of their bodies almost being stripped of their own natural healing properties.
It really strips your gut. They say it takes about 6 months for your gut to recover its kind of microflora to after antibiotics. Obviously we can't avoid it sometimes,
of course, and
I could use it in my
and we're lucky to have
myself, it and
it's just where possible, if you are able to look at natural first, or if there isn't a great deal of rush to treat something medically, maybe exploring this first could be a really, really powerful and safe
Yeah, use it as your first port of call, and then if you need to, then seek help and use your intuition a lot. You know, sometimes we give away our health quite easily to others, and we're like, oh, I'll go to the GP to get this done. I'll go to the GP. So right. And actually, if you've got a sore throat or you've got a bit of a temperature, whatever it is, there's a lot you can do at home. Not just homeopathy, but some other potentially old wives' tale kind of stuff. Maybe, you know, maybe not the bag of brown paper if you banged your head, but you know, things that actually are grounded in some kind of truth, you know, lots of herbs and all sorts. Actually, you know, if you research what's in them, there is some truth in it. So just use it first and then see how far you can get. And, you know, sort of a testament with my children that you can get quite far before you need to seek.
And obviously you wouldn't be operating in having your work if it didn't work, because as you say, you've seen some lovely success stories and things. So I really urge everyone who's watching to get in touch. And that's the other thing. What if someone were pregnant and wanted to look at something? Would it mean then having an individual consultation to get to the root of their symptoms for something? Yeah.
So there's kind of two ways to use homeopathy, really. So there's the kind of DIY self-help stuff, which I'll talk about now, with some remedies and stuff, and you can get like these kits like this one, and another family one like this.
Okay,
there's some DIY stuff you can do at home, you know, instead of going to the cupboards that's got all the other stuff in. So this kind of stuff out your cupboard, maybe see the pharmacist kind of stuff, you know, bumps and bruises and cuts and burns and all that kind of stuff. Stuff you can DIY yourself. But we've got kind of the 2-week rule, really, sort of an unwritten rule. If you've been stuck with something for more than 2 weeks and you've tried to sort it yourself and it doesn't go, then you'll need to seek help from a homeopath like myself or another professional, a registered one. And so that's when, if you probably can't fix it yourself, once it becomes chronic and stuck, then you'll need a bit of help. So even in pregnancy, you know, if I've found this before, you know, the pregnancy yoga class, when I had terrible morning sickness for 20 weeks and I hadn't found homeopathy yet, that kind of thing. If you've got a bit of morning sickness, obviously that's normal, that's fine. Even if it's normal and fine, doesn't mean you can't use remedies to try and make it a bit less.
Oh, that's good to know, because I know that so many suffer with it.
Yeah. But with me, I must have been on the verge, you know, because I was having 20 bags a day that I was throwing up and taking in my handbag. Oh, my goodness. So if I'd known, I should have gone to a homeopath. That's a bit more severe.
So that's what I was going to ask you about. One of the main ones I wanted to ask you about was actually hyperemesis, and whether actually homeopathy could... Hyperemesis is obviously an extreme sickness. It's not morning sickness. It's really awful sickness. Yeah. But for those who are suffering with regular sickness, would that be something that you would say, come and speak to a homeopath?
Yes, even hyperemesis, gravidarum, isn't it?
Yes.
Definitely see a homeopath. But this is where I wish the world operated differently. Integrative healthcare would be the ideal. So it doesn't mean you go to the homeopath and you forget about mainstream with that.
Yeah.
Because you may need to be hospitalised, you may need a drip, you may need some of the drugs.
Yeah.
So both could work in harmony. It's not either or.
Okay.
You know, homeopathy
teamwork.
Homeopathy does not interfere with medicine.
Oh, okay. So it could support the medicine. It could
like they're on separate channels.
Yeah.
Medicine's on the chemical channel, homeopathy's on the energy channel. So, you know, the powers that be may say, you know, you can't use both, but that's just not really true. You know, treating people who are having chemotherapy side effects and you know, all that kind of stuff. So as much as it doesn't interfere with homeopathy, a holistic approach would be the ideal. I'd love to see in the future, you walk into a healthcare centre, you've got the doctor, you've got the homeopath, you've got the acupuncturist, you've got, you know, a yoga class going on. Why can't we have all these things together?
I completely agree, and it depends who you talk to, doesn't it? Because you know, if I've spoken to GPs in the past, say I've got morning sickness or whatever with my son. Some are really open to alternative therapies. Some are really supportive of it, and then others are more, you know.
Yeah, the thing with stuff like morning sickness is sort of normal morning sickness is that there aren't really any solutions to it, sort of the mainstream sort of side, unless you're extreme, and then, you know, you've got the hyperemesis sort of stuff going on. But the normal kind of morning sickness, apart from the ginger biscuits, but then puts everyone off ginger biscuits for life.
Oh no. And I remember saying to a doctor, please, I'm so unwell, and they said, do you think it might be twins? I remember thinking, oh, I don't know, I'm just so unwell, and I knew there was nothing I could do about it. But that feeling is awful, and I didn't know about homeopathy at all. So I would have absolutely, because you want to do anything you can
early
do.
Enough.
Yeah.
It was later pregnancy. But yeah, I've got a few remedies here.
So
Here's a few remedies, I've got my notes, to try out if you've got morning sickness, standard kind of morning sickness.
Yeah.
But obviously if it's stuck and you can't get rid of it,
Yeah.
message me, whatever, somebody else like myself to try and sort it out. Don't just suffer. You don't have to suffer.
No,
There are solutions to this.
Yeah.
It's not an endurance test.
No.
So I'll type all these remedy names in the comments afterwards as well.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to write them, but then they'd be reversed, and I couldn't work.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
I will signpost everyone to your page so that they can contact you and everything as well.
Okay,
but, yeah,
cool.
that'd be great.
Right. So the first remedy that will be brilliant for morning sickness is called cocculus. Okay, Cocculus, cocculus. Now, this remedy, so it doesn't have to be just morning sickness. This is the remedy for sickness that's like travel sickness.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's that kind of
that's nausea. It's nausea, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that swimming feeling. It's because actually morning sickness for me felt a lot like I've been on a ferry for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And you know, it's that feeling where your head is just swimming and you just feel nauseous the whole time. So cocculus is a brilliant remedy for that. It's also brilliant after you've given birth. If you've got, you know, you're so tired you can't sleep, and where you feel very similar, you know, that whole your head's swimming and you feel a bit nauseous, which you also get from being mega sleep deprived, don't you?
Yeah, it's so
this remedy cocculus is for the nausea, not just for morning sickness. So it can be nausea from jet lag as well. So jet lag, travel sickness, so tired you can't sleep, you've been nursing a baby, you've been nursing someone all night, you know, like an older person who needs constant care. It's the remedy for that horrible feeling.
Yeah.
So that's the first one.
That's good to know.
Yeah, disorientated motion sickness.
So I just to relate to those who are still pregnant, that feeling is if you give birth, say you've given birth in the middle of the night, it's quite common, isn't it, to then have at least 24 hours or so before you actually have any sleep, because you feed, you're kind of on adrenaline high from the birth, or you're doing a lot of stuff, and then the baby needs feed. So sometimes it can be that first 24 to 36 hours after giving birth, you might not sleep. So
and then you're like, oh my God.
then you do feel like, yeah, it's a really strange, almost, a kind of out of control feeling. So that could be a really great one to have to go to.
It's so much like jet lag, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that same sort of feeling.
And you don't know what day or time it is.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the remedy for that.
There's
another remedy called nux vomica, and nux vomica is a poisonous nut, and vomica sounds like vomiter, which is how you remember it.
Okay.
So nux vomica is literally when you just feel like vomiting. It's when you're not pregnant, everybody. It's the remedy for hangovers and overindulgence.
Sick.
If you go out drinking, take one of these before you go to bed, obviously when the world's open.
Interesting.
Because it's amazing for overindulgence and that hangover feeling. Again, the hangover feeling is also very similar to morning sickness feeling.
Yeah.
So these can all be used in combination as well. You can pop quite a few of them.
Okay.
You don't have to. Obviously, you want to match the best you can, but if some of them are quite close, just choose several of them. You know, you can put them together. You can drop the pills into a glass of water and just sip it frequently throughout the day, or you can get the pills, just pop one in your mouth, 10 minutes later pop another one in your mouth. And the way the dosing sort of works is the worse you feel, the more you take. The better you feel, the less you take.
Okay.
And if you feel fine, you just stop dead with the remedy. You don't need to carry on. It's not like vitamins where you need to keep topping up to feel good.
Yeah.
It's symptom matching. If the symptom's there, you've no need to match. So just stop.
Okay.
That's that one, nux vomica. And another one, ipecacuana, is the constant violent nausea where you do not feel better from throwing up.
Right.
So it's where it's continuous.
More of an extreme.
Yeah, where it's just there the whole time. Again, another morning sickness kind of thing. So you can see these remedies are quite similar, but also different.
Yes.
But if you can't choose, just use all three.
Wow.
There are obviously other remedies around, but they're a bit more specific depending on your symptoms. So give these a go. If it doesn't work, then pop me a message or book an appointment and we'll try and sort you out.
Okay,
so there's the morning sickness ones. So in this kit here, there's quite a few remedies. There's 18 remedies in here. I won't talk about all of them.
Okay.
But I'll go through my sort of main favourite ones that you can use during labour and recovery as well.
And what's this kit called again, Rowena?
So this kit is called the Homeopathy Specifics for Childbirth.
Ah.
So this one is from Helios Homeopathic Pharmacy. There's two main homeopathic pharmacies here that I love. So one's called Helios and the other pharmacy is called Ainsworth's.
Okay.
So this is the 18 remedies. There is slightly higher potency, which means they're a bit more alive.
Okay.
Because when you're giving birth, it's a bit more of an energetic situation, isn't it? So you want
Yeah.
a slightly higher dose
Yeah.
than the ones you get off the shelf, maybe in the health food shop.
Yeah.
And then there's another kit very similar to this, which says pregnancy to age 7. So this obviously be good for you and your boys, because they're under 7, aren't they?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of remedies in there. So if you had this kit and the 42 for pregnancy up to age 7, you'd be covered for so much.
You've got everything.
Yeah. And this one's about 35 to 38 pounds, something. The other one's about 49. So for like 80 pounds, you've got, you know,
I want to get it.
Yeah, you've got like 60 remedies that you can use for so many things in the home, pregnancy, and with young children. So yes, cover yourself with both.
Yeah.
But I'll talk through some of these.
Yes.
So the first remedy is called aconite.
Okay.
So aconite is a brilliant remedy for shock and fear. So quite often when you go into labour, no matter what preparation you've done hypnobirthing, you've done your yoga, everything, you can suddenly become a bit fearful.
Oh, of course.
Because you suddenly realise, oh my goodness, I'm in labour. And as we know, once that adrenaline train goes, you know, it stops the oxytocin.
It's a spiral. So this is what I call the path to panic, It's that really, if you start to go there, it can really eat you up. So that's a great one to know about.
So catch it before it starts.
Yeah.
So if you suddenly feel a bit in shock or a bit panicky, because aconite is a remedy like rabbit in the headlights. Oh my God.
Yes.
It's the real raw animal fear.
Oh, well, that's a great one.
Yeah, brilliant remedy for that. Your heart beating, you know, quickly.
If you feel it's coming, you take one before you just take one.
Yeah, if you feel it's coming, take it. It's also brilliant remedy. So remedies have like multifaceted aspects to them, really. So it's also a remedy for nipping colds in the bud. So you know that feeling when you're like, oh, I'm coming down with something, I feel a bit off. Pop an aconite. It kind of wards it off or pushes it through your system more quickly. It's also the fever for when you've been out in a cold wind and you know the kids get bright red cheeks and then throw up a fever. Aconite's remedy for that. So they've all got many aspects to them.
Wow.
But for, you know, pregnancy, childbirth, it's the fear remedy.
That's brilliant then.
At any stage, you know, when you're going through transition as well, you can get a bit fearful, can't you, as you
Definitely. Shift. And if someone's on hand to see those symptoms, birth partners or doulas, to be able to give you one, I can imagine that. Yeah, that's really important.
It just reminded me. So with this kit here, when you're in labour, you're not going to be like, oh, which one do I need now? It's just not going to work.
You're not thinking like that.
You're going to be in the zone, hopefully in the hypnobirthing zone, or you're in the zone where you're blocking everything out. Because the less you can use your brain, the better your birth will be. So I think as a doula, you can't obviously prescribe these.
Yeah.
But your birth partner, like your next of kin, can. So quite often when I'm working with people, I will give a lesson to both partners.
Interesting.
So that
okay.
You've got a, because in early labour you can take these yourself.
Yeah.
But once you're really in active labour and you're in the zone, you don't. But someone could just pop it in your mouth while you're not. And you know, I've had women who line up their bottles of water. Could you drop the remedy in the water and it becomes the remedy? And so there's the main ones. You probably wouldn't need all 18 lined up. You'd be like, excuse me, let me just get my 18 bottles out. But
I've heard about people doing this. I've heard about someone gave me a homeopathy kit during my first pregnancy. I didn't think anything of it. Now I think, God, that would have been so invaluable to me. But I've heard a lot about doulas doing that, you know, with consent to help with their remedies. So this is so interesting.
Exactly. So yes, if it's, and your birth partner and your doula as well knows what the remedies do. It doesn't take long to pick up the main things. And there's a book, you know, you read through the book and it gives you some clues. So that's another way to do it.
Wow.
Right, so that's that one. Arnica. So arnica is always the remedy that everyone says, I haven't heard of homeopathy. And I'm like, what about arnica? Oh,
they go, oh, yeah.
So that's the one of 8,000. But arnica is the #1 trauma remedy.
Right.
So no matter if something has happened to your body, no matter what it is, arnica is remedy. You've had a car crash, you've fallen down the stairs, you've had you banged your head doing the gardening or whatever, arnica is a remedy. It is amazing for recovering from birth.
Right.
It's so good at just taking away some of the aches, some of the pains, because no matter how well your birth has gone, your body has gone through an ordeal.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's like running a marathon.
It's a massive deal on your body.
Exactly. Your bones have moved, you've been doing, usually for hours.
Physical work.
Yeah, exactly. Arnica, that's good. Arnica is actually brilliant for physical work. It's a good word for it. Whether you've, you've gone for a long walk and your legs are really achy, that, you know, physical exertion from loads of exercise. Arnica is brilliant. Also good in labour if you're getting a bit exhausted.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay.
So
And so arnica would also be good for things like to support healing of an episiotomy or stitches.
Yeah.
And like that.
Yeah, there's a few that I always suggest to my women who are giving birth, and especially if it's episiotomy or cesarean, etc. And arnica's always in there, regardless of how your birth has gone. If you take nothing else after birth because it's gone swimmingly and you've got no cuts, no tears, everything's perfect, still take arnica, because it will just help with your body's recovery from the exertion, basically.
And how many would you suggest to take, or how often, for how many days following birth?
So again, at the beginning, take it quite frequently. So in the first couple of days, I'd drop the pill in your water and just sip it throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then as time goes on and you feel a bit more yourself again, you can just drop it down. Depending on what you've had, you know, if you've had a cesarean, you probably need a bit longer.
Yeah.
Episiotomy a bit longer.
Yeah.
If nothing, you know.
There's no tears, but it might just be a physical exertion then.
Yeah, exactly. If nothing else, it's physical sort of demands on your body. It can help with excessive bleeding as well after birth too.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Right, next one's called Bellis perennis, which is actually a daisy. And Bellis perennis is known for the parts that arnica can't reach.
Okay.
So this one, I give it to women who have had a cesarean or forceps or something a bit more intrusive going on.
So more medical delivery, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the like deep tissue injury, especially abdominal. So it's amazing for, refreshes the parts arnica can't reach, and really good for overstretched uterine ligaments as well, it says.
Okay.
So,
oh gosh, this is so interesting. This is so helpful.
I know, you were missing out, weren't you?
I have been missing out. I'll need to give birth again now so I can use all these.
Exactly. Get onto it.
I'm going to be buying this kit to sound the family kit as well. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, Laura's commenting. Yeah, Postnatal. Yeah, I've got that in my list actually, Laura. I will talk about that too. Calendula. This is the one that I took after my first birth, after the episiotomy, when I had pain.
Okay.
And within 20 minutes, I was pain free. I was like, oh my God, this shit works. This is amazing.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah. So calendula is the #1 wound healing remedy. Whatever wound you've got, as in laceration, cut to your skin, calendula is amazing. It helps heal without infection, heal without, you know, scar tissue lumpiness going on, and helps stop the pain. So calendula is amazing.
And that's a family one. Surely that's also a really great family one.
It's in all, Sarah, I will put the link in the comments for Helios Homeopathic Pharmacy is where you buy this one. So yeah, calendula, amazing for afterbirth recovery. Yeah, and it's always in the family kits as well. Carbo veg, this one is brilliant for like trapped wind or bloating that you've got in pregnancy. I know everyone seems to have bloating in pregnancy, don't they? But that real kind of trapped wind feeling. So carbo veg is brilliant for that. I always put it in my Christmas remedy recommendations because everyone gets bloating.
I love that. Also, trapped wind is quite a common symptom of C-section births.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So after cesarean, it says here, yeah, for excruciating trapped wind after cesarean, it can sometimes happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another remedy for that. Brilliant for that. Next one, colophyllum or colophyllum, never know how to say it.
Okay.
It's a brilliant remedy for helping produce strong, productive contractions.
Oh, hello.
I know, and I know that you've spoken about this, where you've got wandering contractions, and it usually means the baby's not in the right position, and you're trying to help move.
Yeah.
But it's where you've got those wandering contractions, I think they call them, don't they? Where they're sort of moving around and not in the right place. And
interesting. You know, so what this is going to help to try and get the uterus working more efficiently, I suppose.
Yeah. So it says do not use routinely, but it says contractions can be centered in the lower half and the top feels flabby.
Oh my goodness.
Some can be sharp and painful, short, ineffective, spasmodic, moving around, sometimes the groin and the thighs, slow or stop due to exhaustion. So if the labour stops and stalls, just try this one.
Wow.
You know, sort of get it going again.
That is just amazing.
Yeah, I know. And if it doesn't work, you haven't lost anything.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work, and it's not a problem, you know, it's not unsafe to have taken it. But what I'm finding so interesting is how specific these are, because something like uterine contractions is so specific. And you know, even what's a harm in not trying that? If you're having a long stop-start labour, or you're feeling the discomfort exclusively somewhere else in the uterus, then that sounds very interesting.
And you can obviously mix them again. So pop an arnica because you're tired, you've exhausted. But if the midwife's saying all these contractions are ineffective, you could be like, oh, let's pop one of these, see what happens.
Yeah.
That's
and
really
who knows if the placebo effect, can you imagine if it's just that, well, I'm sort of feeling calmer because I've done something about it.
Yeah, exactly. And who cares? It works, doesn't it? Doesn't.
But I'm sure it works.
You've lost nothing. Exactly. Right, next one's chamomilla. Now, this is the #1 teething remedy that you'll find in the sachets that you'll see even in the chemist and the supermarkets. Right. But chamomilla is also amazing in labour if you get yourself in a state where you feel like the pain is unbearable. Right. Hopefully you don't with all Lucy's preparation. But
but pain is a real part.
If you do get on that train of lost control and fear and whatever, yes, you can take arnica during the labour. Someone's just asked there. It says oversensitivity, violent bad temper. So if you know on the movies where you're like, but that's why it works for teething actually, because teething babies are in a very similar state. So again, it's the same feeling in the remedy where the pain is driving you demented. So where the pain is just too much for you, which is why babies they're screaming when they're teething, because that dental pain is so extreme that they literally can't be satisfied. So it's got double. If you buy this kit, then it's got double purpose. It's good for your teething baby, and you could use it in labour if you end up like that.
Wow.
Next one is gelsemium. So gelsemium is actually the #1 flu remedy, and it's for like sluggish, aching sort of stuff. Don't put arnica gel on your tear, because arnica is not good on broken skin. You'd be better off. You can actually get calendula cream. You know, I spoke about calendula. You can get calendula tincture or cream, which would be better, but don't ever put arnica on broken skin, because it really
so really then it's digesting it.
Yeah, taking it in your mouth. And I forgot to say, the way you take a pill, you just tip the pill in the lid, tip it in your mouth, let it dissolve under your tongue. Best way to take it. Internally, they always seem to work better than, you know, on a cream or a tincture, but you can double whammy, do both if you want. But yeah, don't use arnica cream on broken skin. So
the water that you were talking about, Rowena, is that a drop? Are they drops that go in water, or do you put pills in water as well?
Just drop one of these little pills, dip it in the lid and drop it in the water, and then every time you get a sip, you're essentially taking a pill. So you save your pills, and it's easy to take in labour or, you know, recovery or whatever it is. It just makes it a bit easier.
Cool.
So gelsemium is the #1 flu remedy, and it's kind of recognisable by droopy eyelids and exhaustion, which you can also get in labour. So it doesn't matter what's causing your droopy eyelids, exhaustion and achy bones, whether it's flu or labour, same situation, isn't it? Where you're like, and they say you can recognise someone needing gelsemium because they're like, oh my goodness, I can't even open my eyelids.
So it could be kind of an exhaustion from labour, sort of if you've been having a really long first stage, getting quite exhausted.
Physical heaviness, very useful if labour is slow and sluggish. So if your labour is slow and you are so tired because you've been there for quite a few hours, this would be a really good remedy. Obviously, along with the arnica as always.
And and that's also, is that good postnatally, like recovering from birth, the sluggish?
Yeah, if you feel slow, sluggish, a bit like you've got flu and you've got droopy eyelids, achy bones, just pop one. It wouldn't do any harm. See what happens.
Cool.
That one. Next one, hypericum. This is amazing also for the remedy for nerve-rich areas, damage to a nerve-rich area. So again, definitely an episiotomy one, definitely a cesarean one. Fallen down the stairs on your bum and banged your coccyx, trapped your finger in the car door. Hypericum is amazing. It's the one I use for this finger, which I put in a hand blender by mistake, making baby food. You can see it's a bit weird, but...
Oh my goodness, you poor thing.
One of those, me.
Oh, poor you.
But it works. I also use a load of remedies, and then this brought back the feeling in my finger, and it works perfectly well.
Wow.
It's brilliant after episiotomy because you get a bit, that sort of feeling. And sometimes when you've had cesarean, you lose a bit of feeling, you get a bit of numbness, don't you? So also a brilliant remedy for that. And obviously it's in the family kit as well for lots of things. Somebody's asking about high risk.
Yes.
Maybe mention it to them. I would mention it to them, but I would, you know, this whole integrative health, there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to use them technically. Ipecac, obviously we said about that for violent nausea, which can also come in labour. So on early labour signs,
Yes.
often nausea and vomiting. So again, if you're in that vomiting state,
Yes.
use the one I mentioned for morning sickness.
Okay.
Cali carb, if only I'd taken this in one of my labours, would have been amazing, because both my babies came up back to back looking at the sky. No matter how much I sat on the ball and what I did.
Yeah, sometimes they're just like that. Yeah.
I know, I found out my womb is actually tilted backwards, which now makes sense, doesn't it?
Does make sense.
So this Cali carb is for backache labours, where you feel the pain in your back, buttocks, thighs, posterior presentations, where labour gets stuck. So this is the remedy to try for that. And the idea is that it may help your baby, if your baby can, to get in the right position.
Yeah.
Again, I know you've got loads of moves for this, haven't you? Moves.
Yeah.
Thing.
But also we know that some babies are either they've chosen that position or they cannot get that time or space to move, and that could be something that positioning is a great option. But sometimes if there's been a previous pelvic injury or pelvic ligament problem in the past, so something like that could really support that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure with mine whether that would have actually, I think I might have taken it, I can't remember now, but I spent 30 weeks onwards on my ball. I did loads
and the baby hadn't turned.
But then I always remember the picture you put on Instagram actually of the bed, and I just spent my whole labour hunched over the bars, way to try and help. And then I birthed them naturally, but it was definitely painful. And the back pain,
back labours are, that pain or discomfort is in the back because of that pressure of their spine against yours. So
yeah, exactly. I don't have any memory of abdominal pain at all. It was all
same.
It was actually hips, mine. Yeah.
My eldest was back to back, and exactly that. It was all in the back. It's a very different feeling.
Yeah, it does feel slightly wrong, but
Yeah, but that's good to know. So that's interesting to have.
Again, it may not work, but give it a go. Remind me to tell my story in a minute about something. Okay. Califos, remedy for exhaustion, helpful for labour if no other strong symptoms. If your energy is low. So obviously there's a few we've now mentioned for if you're exhausted. So just try them out.
Yeah.
This one, Califos, is amazing for mothering in general, because that mothering, exhausted feeling tends to last sometimes, depending on how many kids you've got, what the way you're living life, whether you're working as well. Califos is a brilliant booster for your energy levels to kind of bring it up.
Wow. So that's something you wouldn't want to take it long term though, or would you be okay with taking that? Because if it was, just a general day-to-day mothering is hard period of your life, is that something we would take daily?
You could take it daily as long as you've still got the symptom, but as soon as the symptom goes, you just stop.
Right.
You can also actually get it in a tissue salt, which is slightly different, which is like a little micronutrient, which also helps.
Okay.
So somebody just commented, the energy one is Califos, Kalipphos, Califos. I'll write these in the comments afterwards as well. I have a lot of typing to do, won't I?
Yes, you do.
I'll pop in later.
Okay.
Next one. This one is an amazing remedy, which you all need, especially for after birth, called Phytolacca. You're never going to remember these. I will type them. This is the remedy for mastitis, cracked nipples, blocked milk ducts. So that feeling, for those of you that recognise it, is where you start to get a little bit of a hard bit. It starts getting a bit hot and swollen. You're like, uh-oh. And then you've got to massage it and do all these things. Phytolacca is amazing for that.
Wow.
So just pop it as soon as you know you've got a blocked duct and you're sort of heading towards a bit of inflammation or possibly mastitis. So that's a definite one.
Wow. That's a good one.
Right. Pulsatilla. So Laura Lemon Tree, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mentioned Pulsatilla. Pulsatilla is the remedy for a breech baby or a transverse baby.
Wow. And someone's just asked about transverse, so that's good to know.
I've got a good transverse story, which I know I've told you, which I'll tell in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So can be used from the 36th week to encourage a breech baby. So if you do have a breech baby, I would seek help from a professional, from a homeopath. So my two things are homeopathy, acupuncture. So acupuncture, they use something called moxibustion, which is where they burn some herbs called mugwort, and I think it's by your toe, which encourages breech babies. So obviously you've probably got some yoga moves as well for breech babies. So all these things in combination, and if you do these things, your baby doesn't move from breech, then your baby wants to be birth breech.
Then your baby's breech,
yeah. But you can obviously try these things, and it says from the 36th week, if you're right at 40 weeks, you're going to have trouble because there's not much space.
Okay,
But
that's the thing, isn't it, about position? It's catching it at a good time when there's still space for them to move, because you have to think logistically as well. You know, how can they move? So that's
exactly.
good to
You've
know.
probably got a couple of weeks. Got a couple of weeks window probably. So it says here 36 week. Don't just go trying this routinely. Really, you know, reach out to somebody just to give you a bit of advice. But it's brilliant. This remedy is also good in labour if you're a bit weepy and you're kind of pleading for help, kind of thing. You know, where you're really quite tearful. It's an amazing women's hormonal remedy in general. It's kind of the PMS feeling or the weepy feeling, like, oh, I just need someone to look after me, which you can get like in labour as well.
And just like motherhood.
Yeah, exactly. Works really well. Next one is called Cicale or Cicale. It is brilliant for antidoting the ill effects of symptometrin. So symptometrin is the injection in the bum they give you to help deliver the placenta. So
the authentic synthetic oxytocin.
Or the synthetic is oxytocin, isn't it? Or the one that to release your placenta. It's also brilliant for retained placenta.
Oh, brilliant.
So when your placenta does not come out, this one is brilliant to try for that. Again, it might do nothing, but you've lost nothing, because if it doesn't come out, you're into theatre to have it manually removed.
Yes, but that's also great for maybe home birth planners, people planning a home birth, just in case, just to stop any, just to have it there.
If it does no harm, give it a go.
Yeah.
It won't do harm. It's so gentle, this stuff. Next one, sepia. Sepia is an amazing women's remedy in general. Pains that are dragging down, so that kind of down there
pressure.
This is amazing also for period pains, if they're really low, dragging, sort of that vaginal pain you can get as well sometimes. Sluggish and weepy, and amazing for prolapse, if you've had the prolapsed womb, which can sometimes happen, depends more obviously on instrumental birth as well. This is an amazing remedy for that.
Oh wow.
And also and it says, think of sepia if children are born close together, giving the body insufficient time in between to recover.
Right.
That's interesting. This is also a brilliant mothering remedy for when you feel dragged. It's the drag down feeling, that's physical or emotional.
Wow.
Amazing for that. Also good for menopause, for like hot flushes and stuff.
Oh, great.
Sepia is actually a cuttlefish, which is interesting.
I'm so interested.
You need this, Kit.
I do.
I need to teach doulas about this, I think, too.
You should, Rowena. You should host a workshop or a masterclass or something. People would be...
No, it's so helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the last one is Staphysagria. Now, this remedy I always give to people who have had an episiotomy, a forceps or a cesarean, because it kind of covers the feeling that you can get after birth that, you know, maybe isn't logical because you've got your beautiful baby, but you've got a bit of anger and resentment about what's happened to your body.
Okay, yeah.
So especially if you've already had a birth that didn't go quite as planned as you wanted, and you know, like post-birth reflections, all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Or birth trauma, maybe, some sort of support for birth trauma.
Exactly. But it has this kind of resentment or humiliation because of medical procedures or interventions during labour. Forceps, episiotomy, enema, not so much these days, stitches, use of stirrups, that sort of thing.
Wow.
It works so well to help release that anger that you've got about it, because you don't want to leave that lingering. So you want to try and live that. So that's that one. That's the last one.
Oh my gosh.
I know, aren't they so interesting? Wish everyone had one.
I didn't realise how specific they would be, actually. I've been probably just quite, well, this is why I've been so excited to have this chat, because I'm learning so much. But I think if I were pregnant right now and watching this, I'd think, I want to try it. Why not try?
Yeah, why not try? Because it does no harm, you know. Obviously, these remedies have multi-purpose in general with lots of other things, but this is how you use them in childbirth and pregnancy. These are specific aspects of them that work for those. Obviously, arnica is so big, you can use it for endless things, you know. Yeah. You know, I heard about a man who had terrible headaches, and he had an arnica remedy 10 years later, and it turns out he had a motorbike crash previously that he, you know, just got the leftover kind of energetic imprint of it that was never dealt with, caused him migraines, took the arnica, sorted it out.
And so this is another thing to remember, is that so much of these things can come back to so many things in your past, your childhood, or injuries, like you say, or emotional traumas. And so you're trying to find something that connects with your energetic field, I suppose. Yeah,
exactly. This is the kind of a stuck thing, I suppose, what we call the chronic thing. You've gone past the 2 weeks, you're kind of stuck with it. and that's when you obviously need to seek help. Oh, my story I was going to tell.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Tell us.
Transverse baby. So I think I told you this, didn't I, when we were doing our doula stuff? So I can't remember what it was. Last summer, I had a lady come to me, and she was really quite scared, worried, and upset because she had a transverse baby. And I chose transverse. People don't know is your baby's lying horizontal. There's no way you can birth a transverse baby. Obviously, breech, you can still birth them. Yeah. But transverse, they're just having a little snooze.
Coming
sideways.
out.
No,
hey,
no
Tracy.
way to get out. Oh, hi, Tracy. So transverse baby, and this is their third baby. I think it's a bit more common actually. The more you have, because your womb's already had a little go, a bit more space. Yeah, space for them to just hang around.
Hang around.
Swim around. I've got loads of space in here in this womb.
I'm fine here, just laying sideways.
Exactly. So she came to me and she's really worried and upset because her first 2 births have been like magical. I think they were home births, so they're very natural and calm and all that kind of stuff. And obviously transverse baby, the only solution is cesarean. And we were obviously in the middle of COVID, and so she had to leave her 2 kids at home. She was worried about the cesarean, you know, upset that she couldn't give this baby what the first 2 had had. I think that's quite common, isn't it? You want to do the same for your children, to make it, you know, fair, etc., or give them the same opportunities.
To relive a lovely experience as well.
Yeah, exactly. So she was all worried about that. So we had a proper homeopathic consultation. I would never give a remedy to try and turn a transverse baby, I don't think, at 39 weeks. It's just, it's quite, she'd already had been to the doctor and the hospital many times, and they were like, no, your baby's staying in this position. So I wouldn't want to interfere with that. You've got to keep your head as well. Yeah. But I gave her some remedies for her fear and anxiety because she was really quite upset and worried. And then she said, I'm going to hospital tomorrow, sort out the plan, so, you know, and have a scan, etc. So she goes the next day after taking the remedies at night. They're like, oh, your baby's moved, it's head down.
No way.
Yeah, so this shows.
But she saw you, she took the remedies that night.
Yeah.
And her baby was head down.
Yeah, baby went head down.
No.
So it just shows that they say homeopathy always does what's in your best interest. So I was treating the fear, anxiety and worry. Yeah. But as a result, as I said, that remedy goes in and touches every part of you. Whether she was worried or the baby was worried, it somehow...
But also the fear is creating tension. The tension is in the uterus. Yeah. The uterus is then restricting movement.
Exactly.
If you want to look at it like that, or an energetic field. But that is...
Yeah.
So you treated the fear.
When I hear these things, when someone gets pregnant, when there's an amazing result like this or whatever, I end up crying because
it's amazing because you've
done
it.
To cry. And yeah, I was like, oh my god, that's so amazing. And she birthed the baby naturally, came out. You know.
My goodness, Rowena, what a lovely credit to what you do.
You know, been a patient for many months afterwards. So I often work with people, you know, month after month, just to keep them on the right track, and you know. It's always something to talk about.
Wow.
So that's an amazing story.
That's amazing.
I was not expecting that at all. That was not my intention. But
no,
you know,
so you were just trying to help her to relax from the fear, and then baby turned.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And I bet you love what you do, right?
I do love what I do, and it always makes me emotional when I see good results. And
that's so lovely. I think people are going to be so keen to know more about this, and I know that everyone will be popping over to your page. I don't know if you've had any questions, but I didn't want to not answer any. I'll just have a quick scan through.
Yeah, have a look.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Because so Rowena, just to clarify, then, if someone now is thinking, right, so I want to look into homeopathy, just again, it's safe for them to try. It's safe. There's nothing medical about this.
No, homeopathy is safe for anybody, for everything. You know, pregnant. You know, elderly, newborn baby, you can
use
newborn babies. Yeah, trying to conceive, everything. It works so well. You're talking about the trying to conceive. Quite a few women who I'm worked with have got pregnant, not necessarily come because they have fertility issues, but they, just by having some good remedies, I say it touches every part of you, your body ends up in a good state of health.
Okay.
And in turn does whatever it is you want it to do.
Works better, more effectively.
Yeah. Obviously, if there are sort of actual period issues or infertility issues, you can choose remedies specific for those issues.
Okay.
But once you work on your health holistically, it just seems to happen in turn that sometimes if you were planning to get pregnant, you then do become pregnant because you've got your body in a higher vibration state of health, as it were.
It really reminds me.
Battery.
But I think that's the thing, to try and look at it as in a different alternative way, is balancing out your energy field. So in yoga we talk about the chakras. You're balancing out your chakras, so that is exactly what you're not going to, you're saying that if you can just balance out your health, you can treat everything to work in its best way. You're giving yourself the optimal health, optimal chance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah. So we call it your vital force, but it is that thing that's within you, that drives you, that animates you, that makes you you. It's every living thing's got it, you know, animals, plants, us. We've got something that makes us alive, and that's the thing that remedies are prompting to, you know, bring about change on every level, as we say.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love it. Right, somebody asked, is it okay then to take them all and mix them during labour?
Yes, I wouldn't take the whole box at once. Might be a bit confused. Your body might be like, what's going on here?
What do I feel?
But I'd say definitely 2 or 3 would, you know, you could give them a little mix, and again put them in water if you want to, and sip your water. So again, if you're putting it in water, sip it frequently if you're feeling it quite strongly, and if the symptom goes away, sip less. I mean, if the symptom stops, just stop dead. You do not need to take a remedy if the symptom's gone, and sometimes that can be 10 minutes later the symptom's gone. You don't need to take it. And so it's a matching game.
And it's also worth really looking at the information before you go into labour, you know, well before. Just get familiar with the remedies and speak to your birth partner about them so that they can help you with them.
Yeah, I'll put the 2 homeopathic pharmacies here and what the kit's called. I don't think links work. I don't think links work in the comments on Instagram.
I don't think they do, but I'm happy to link in my stories if you wanted me to.
Okay, cool.
Or I can send them over to you, and you can.
Obviously in my bio, I do homeopathy lessons. So if you buy a kit and you would like a lesson 1-to-1, then you can book a lesson and we can go through the kit together if you bought it. Or if you've got any long-term issues that you're stuck with, you know, something's more severe, you've had it for more than 2 weeks, then, you know, you book in and we can try and sort you out.
That's brilliant. All right, that's brilliant. Right, one more question, if that's all right, Rowena.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Can you take arnica with other vitamins after birth, such as vitamin D and omega-3, etc.?
Yeah, they're all completely different, aren't they? So vitamins are like here on this lane, homeopathy is on another lane. So you can I take vitamins, supplements. If you did can't get it out. If you did taste it, it wouldn't taste as much at all. That's how small they are.
Okay. Yeah.
Just put it under your tongue.
Oh, cool. Okay. Somebody's asked, I don't know how to pronounce this, the term, but what's the difference between potency, 30 CH and 200 CH?
Yeah, so 30 CH is what these ones all say. Can you see 30 C?
Oh yeah.
Probably just reversed. These have been diluted that 1 in 130 times, as we discussed. And then these ones are 200, and they've been diluted 1 in 100, 200 times. Again, in reverse to normal logic, the more you dilute it, the more energetic it becomes. So the 200s are useful for labour, and actually the first aid kit as well, that's, you know, 200s, because it's more energetically intense when you're in labour. You're at a heightened state of awareness, aren't you? And your energy is, if you could read your energy on the day of labour, it's just a bit more, a bit more alive. So that's why these are 200s. And then the everyday kind of stuff like this, you know, the bumps and bruises, burns, bites, whatever that you have in the family home, that's a 30, because it's not quite as energetically it's more every day
normal energy level.
Yeah, every day is 30. 200s like we're energetically awake now, which is why it's also in the kind of you can, if you banged your head badly, you might take a 200. So this kit here that I've had for 15 years doesn't go off. I still use the remedies in here for everyday stuff if I need to.
Wow. So, I really will be looking into this. I really want to get a kit. It sounds fantastic. I love it.
So cheap.
Yeah.
They're not
Oh, it
expensive.
sounds, and it doesn't, like you say, it doesn't go off. It's brilliant.
No,
You've just
exactly.
got it. And someone just said this is really helpful. I suffer with anxiety anyway, and with a transverse baby, it's definitely becoming worse. Thanks for a positive story. So that's lovely.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, lovely feedback. And because we'll all start to wrap up now. And I really hope everybody's enjoyed that as much as I know I have. I think it's something that's, as I've been saying in the build up to today, it really lends itself to what I'm educating on, and also just women's health in general. And things like the anxiety that we can feel, it folds, it takes us into motherhood as well. It's the whole journey can come up with anxiety and fear, and the cuts and bruises in our children, and you know, so it feels like an investment in our long-term health, really.
I think it just comes up in pregnancy, doesn't it? Because you start, first of all, there's no medicines, you can't really take any. You know, there's rules, you know, you can't take this, can't take that, can't eat this, can't eat that. So you have to find another solution. And then you also become aware of what you're putting in your body. Whereas, you know, when you're younger, you were like, oh, I'll eat out, drink loads, whatever, take whatever, and it does, you're not worried as much. But when you're pregnant, you know, you've got a little life inside you, and you want to avoid putting any crap in your system, essentially.
Completely. And then when you've got the child there, you suddenly, everything feels different. And I choose chemical free or toxic free cleaning products in the home, and I suddenly become aware now of what, and also disease and long-term health, as you know, ailments that we know about. I do believe that the chemicals and what we're putting in our bodies, it's so responsible. So so actually, pregnancy is the start of your longer journey of looking after yourself and your family for your health and your life. So
if you're in a good state of health, you're in a better state should something like a random virus come along. Because you're already, like it's talked about, you know, you're a battery. If you're in the green all the time, you've just got more resilience before you get to the red. If you're in the red, then you just don't have as much, you know, fight with, I suppose. Yeah,
you want to be at optimal health as much as possible, which is difficult in motherhood. So this is good to know that these are here.
Always the goal, but doesn't always happen.
No, but it's a process. We're all learning about ways that we can do it, and so thank you so much for sharing what you loved with us today, because I know it's been really interesting. So
you can tell I'm passionate about it.
I know, I can. But you've helped people. You're helping people. So what a lovely thing to do as a job.
Yeah, exactly. I do. I have the best job. A job that's not a job. It's more.
It's not a job. Yeah, I feel like that. It's a job that you love. Thank you, Rowena, for your time. You're so welcome. Always welcome. And for those who want to check out more or ask more, please go over to Rowena's page. She'll be tagged in the bio underneath this, and throughout the day we'll share the various links, and I'm sure Rowena, give her some time to write some of the remedies below the talk, and get in touch, book an appointment, order a kit, book a lesson, and I will see you hopefully soon. Well,
I'll see you soon,
Rowena, I will see you soon, because we actually met on our doula course, so we are going to be doing another day soon with Zara, so I will catch up
very soon.
Yeah, all right guys, take care. I will just sign off, but I'll let Rowena go. Thanks, Rowena. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. That was brilliant. So interesting. I love learning about, I think anything to do with our health and natural support, I'm all for. I love it. And I really, really recommend checking out what Rowena offers online. She can do Zoom consultations. So you can just get in touch with her and book something online. And if you do order a kit, or you have been particularly inspired to learn more today, then let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I'll be live again next week on Monday. So I hope you'll join me then, and I'll be sharing what we're talking about later this week. So enjoy your weeks, enjoy your days, and let me know what you thought of today. Comment below this video once it's saved, and it will be here for you to catch up on some of the names and go over some of the information later. All right? See you soon, guys. Take care, and thanks for joining us. Bye.